Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something super personal, your unique blueprint. We're going to decode the fascinating science of family traits. All the stuff that makes you, well, you. So have you ever really looked in the mirror and thought, wow, those are my mom's eyes, or hey, that's my dad's smile? Maybe you've even got your grandma's super curly hair. It's something we've all wondered about, right? And that's exactly what we're getting into. Okay, let's jump right in. We're kicking things off with what I'm calling the mirror mystery. It's all about figuring out the clues behind why you look the way you do. It's kind of like being a detective, but for your own face. So, here's a cool way to think about it. Every single one of us is like a totally unique recipe. And the ingredients? Well, those are things like your eye color, how tall you are, the shape of your nose, all these little features you get from your family. The sciencey word for these ingredients is traits. They're basically the building blocks that make you, you. Okay, so we know what we get from our family, the traits. But the big question, the really interesting part is how. How does that recipe get passed down from your parents to you? To figure that out, we've got to look at the family blueprint. First things first, let's make sure we're on the same page. A trait is just a fancy word for any specific characteristic you have. We usually think of the obvious stuff, right? Like eye color or height. But traits can also be things you can't see, like your blood type. And this whole amazing process of passing things down has a name: heredity. It's the way biology hands down traits from parents to their kids. It's like this invisible thread that connects you to your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your entire family tree, really. So, how does this all work? Well, imagine every family has this secret instruction manual for how to build a person. This whole manual is written in a super special code called DNA. And the individual instructions, think of them like chapters in the book, are called genes. Each gene has the code for one specific trait. So how did you get your manual? This is where it gets really cool. Your mom has her instruction manual and your dad has his. They each give you about half of their instructions, and those halves combine to create a brand new, one-of-a-kind manual. That's your blueprint. It's totally unique to you. All right, that's the big idea. But let's see how it actually plays out in the real world. It's time to check out our gallery of traits. We're going to take a closer look at 3 really good examples: skin color, height, and something called albinism. First up, skin color. To get this, you need to know about something called melanin. The easiest way to think about melanin is like your body's own personal brand of paint. It's a natural pigment, and pretty simply, the more of it your genes tell your body to make, the darker your skin, hair, and even your eyes will be. And what decides how much of this paint your body cooks up? You got it, it's your genes. Those instructions you got from your parents are what tell your body exactly how much melanin to create. And that right there is how we get the absolutely beautiful and wide-ranging spectrum of human skin tones we see all over the world. Okay, let's talk about another big one: height. I mean, who hasn't stood back to back with a parent or a friend and wondered, why am I this tall, or why am I shorter? Well, no surprise, heredity is the main reason. But, and this is where it gets super interesting, height isn't just about your genes. Your genes are like the blueprint, right? They set your potential height. That's the nature side of things. But to actually reach that potential, you need good nurture. Think of nutrition as the building materials and your overall health as the construction crew. It really is a team effort. Okay, now let's tie some of these ideas together and talk about albinism. Remember melanin, that body paint we were just talking about? Well, albinism is an inherited trait where the genetic instructions tell the body to produce very, very little melanin, or in some cases, none at all. And this is a really important point. Albinism is not a disease. It's just a trait. It gets passed down exactly the same way eye color or height does. And you see it in people of all races and ethnicities all around the globe, which is honestly a pretty powerful reminder of how connected we all are through our genetics. So you might be wondering, why do some traits show up and others seem to stay hidden? It usually boils down to this idea of dominant versus recessive genes. Think of a dominant trait as a louder instruction. You only need to get it from one parent for it to show up. But a recessive trait, that's a quieter instruction. For that one to appear, you have to get the same quiet instruction from both your parents. Albinism, for instance, is a classic example of a recessive trait. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the how. But let's wrap this up with maybe the most important question. Why does any of this actually matter? What's the big deal about understanding your own family blueprint? Well, it's huge, really. For one, knowing your family's traits can give you a heads up about your own health, both the strengths and potential risks. It also gives you this whole new way to appreciate just how amazingly diverse we all are. And maybe most importantly, it connects you to your family's story, your history, in a really deep way. I just love this way of thinking about it. You're not just some random collection of features. Your DNA is literally a living history book that's been passed down for generations and generations. And you're the newest chapter. So as we finish up, I want to leave you with this one thought. Your genetic story isn't finished. It's still being written. The choices you make, the life you lead, that's all part of the story. The pen is in your hand. So the real question is, what's your chapter going to say?